The videos you're about to watch were extracted from a course on 360 3D photography that I'm currently developing for Udemy.com. Make sure to watch the last video in this playlist to see a trailer for the full course. If you're not watching this video as part of the playlist, you can find a link to the full playlist in the description. Now let me show you how you can build an inexpensive but reliable 3D rig for your 360 cameras. Enjoy. Building a 3D rig for your 360 cameras is not only easy, it's also inexpensive. Apart from the handles for your cameras, which you may already have, you'll only need a few parts, and depending on where you get them, you'll probably be able to pick them up for $25 or less. The parts for the rig can usually be found at your local hardware stores, but they're also available from several places online, where they may be cheaper in some cases. Let's start with the camera handles. The ones I use are from Amazon.ca, and they should fit any camera with a standard 1/4-inch tripod mount. The handle is a short telescopic monopod that can be screwed onto a tripod base, which is also included in the package. The package also includes a ball tilt head that you can attach to the handle or tripod base, but I leave it off for 3D shooting. Each package is about $21 Canadian. And since you're using 2 cameras, you'll need 2 of them. The handle can be purchased from the following link at Amazon.ca. They can also be bought from here on Amazon.com, and all of these links will be included at the end of this video. Don't worry if the one listed under the MadV Megia 360 is out of stock. The exact same one is listed for a bunch of other cameras too. Just search for telescopic 2-in-1 tripod monopod Duragadget, and you should see several in the list. You'll also want to take note of the shipping times. Within the US, it looks like shipping times are 3 to 10 days. But in Canada, it can take 3 to 6 weeks to arrive. So if you're in Canada and live reasonably close to the border, you might want to consider using a service like My US Address, which is located in Ogdensburg, New York, about 2 minutes from the border. If you have the item delivered there, you should be able to get it within a week or two and just take a quick trip across the border to pick it up. Of course, if you don't want to use these specific handles, you don't have to. But if you choose to use something else, keep 2 things in mind. First, it's best to use a handle with a stationary tripod connector rather than one that can tilt back and forth, since that will add a layer of complexity in making sure your cameras are properly aligned. And second, if the handles you use are a different size from the ones I'm using in this course, make sure to account for that in choosing the other parts that you buy for your rig. With the camera handles out of the way, let's move on to the other parts you'll need. The first part you're going to want is a 1-inch by 1-inch by 1/2-inch PVC threaded reducing tee. You're probably better off trying to find a part like this at a local store, but if you want to buy it online, here are links to a suitable part on Amazon. Just looking at it, maybe you can already figure out how this piece is going to be used in the rig. That's what your camera handle is going to fit into, which means you're obviously going to need 2 of them. Fortunately, they're just under $2 a piece, if you can find them at your local Home Depot. You'll also notice the smaller threaded section coming off the side. We need that so that we can connect the 2 tees together securely at a distance of our choosing. To connect the 2 tees, you're going to need a 1/2-inch double male nipple connector, and it's going to need to be about 1 1/4 inches long. Here's an example from Amazon.ca and one from Amazon.com. These have a raised area like a nut in the middle, but you can find others that are smooth if you prefer that. You'll also want to make sure that the threading goes almost to the middle of the connector like in the samples, to make sure you can get the tees close enough to each other for our 3D purposes. When you're buying this piece, you may actually want to try your local hardware store so you can test it directly on your tees and compare the price of different materials. I picked mine up at Lowe's for about $5. That's also where I found my PVC tees. You're also going to need 4 832 half-inch machine screws and machine screw nuts. You can get a pack of 100 screws from Amazon for $8 to $13 Canadian, and a pack of 100 nuts for less than that. But when you factor in shipping costs, you're probably better off going to your local hardware store for these items. Make sure you get machine screws because they have a flat bottom. You're going to be using these to secure your handles in place inside the PVC tees, but you don't need to actually puncture your handles to do that. Here's an example of the screws at homedepot.ca. And here's an example of the nuts. Now we come to one of the last things you'll need for your 3D rig, which is a base plate. For that, we'll be using a Simpson strong tie fence rail bracket. Assuming you're using the same size PVC tees I suggested earlier, this fence rail bracket is a perfect fit. It's long enough to support the camera handles at the distance we'll be setting them, and it has a small lip at the front and back that prevents the PVC tees from slipping. This bracket will set you back a whopping 51 cents US. Here's the part at homehardware.ca, and here it is at homedepot.com. I wasn't able to find one on the homedepot.ca website, but I bought mine at one locally, so you can try just walking into your local store to see if they carry it. Of course, you don't have to use this particular piece for your base plate. Anything about the same size will do, but this was the best piece I've come across. The parts we've covered so far are the primary parts you'll need to build the 3D rig. However, you'll likely want to be able to mount your rig on a tripod. In order to do that, we're going to need to attach something to the base plate that can interface with the tripod screw mount. I suggest buying this 1/4-inch mount adapter 2-pack from Amazon. You can use one of the 1/4-inch nuts to fasten to the base for tripod mounting, but you can also use the 2 hot shoe adapters and extra nuts to attach your camera handles to your base if you like. That's one of the methods I'll be showing you for how to attach your handles to your base plate. If you decide to use the hot shoe adapters to fasten your camera handles to your base plate, then we've already covered all the parts you'll need to build your 3D rig. If not, you'll need some way to fasten your T-connectors to your base plate. One option for doing this is to use a U-bolt. This is an example of one at homedepot.ca. This piece is less than $2, and you should be able to find it easily at your local hardware store. It would be a good idea to try to buy this piece in person so you can find one that's only as large as it needs to be. Another option that's more lightweight is to simply use a few zip ties. I'll demonstrate both methods in the next section of this course, where I show how to put all the pieces together. Now, once you have all the parts listed so far, you're going to need a few tools and accessories to build the rig. Specifically, you're going to need a drill, a 1/4-inch titanium drill saw bit if you decide to drill through the base plate, a 1/8-inch titanium bit, a construction adhesive to chemically bond your tripod mounting nut to the bottom of your base plate, a file to smooth down some rough edges, particularly if you drill through metal, and some kind of clamping device to hold the mounting nut in place while it bonds. A clamp is typically a few dollars, and a tube of construction adhesive is usually under $10. For the titanium drill saw bit, you can either buy one online or go to your local Home Depot, but I'd suggest the latter. If you go to a local store, you can probably pick up one bit for a few dollars. You can also confirm with someone in the store that the bit you're buying will be able to drill through very hard metal. After this video, you'll see a full list of the items I've shown here, along with links to places you can purchase them online. Once you have everything you need, I'll see you in the next video.